What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out that new Devolver hotness. Devolver usually seems to be pretty selective when it comes to their titles, and this time around, I had no idea they signed the Artificer team, and so that's pretty cool. If you remember, like a couple of years ago, there was an XCOM-like that we played called Showgunners that was a very heavily narratively based sort of RPG-infused XCOM game set inside the world of like Running Man. You were on a TV show where everybody in there is battle royaling it out in order to survive, and you've got all your various types of psychos and things that show up, and I liked the game actually a lot. I thought it was a really good sort of XCOM spin-off. Artificer is the team that did that. And so apparently they've hooked up with Devolver, and their newest game is called Minos. This is a game where you are Asterion, the Minotaur of the Labyrinth, and it's very Dungeon Keeper-like. It's a game where you're building your own maze, and then heroes try to get in there in order to hunt you as the Minotaur, and it's full of booby traps, secret walls. It's very customizable. I think we're going to have a good time today, so let's dive in for about 30 minutes and see if this is something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games you would rather not play for yourself. If after watching this you did want to get the game, the demo is publicly available to anybody that wants to check it out, so I'll put a link for that down below. And then on top of that, you can also get a link to a whole bunch of other Nerd Castle links that have just been rattling around down there for years, just holding the line, giving you places to be, places to belong. But let's go ahead and start off the demo. Okay, so our first dungeon over here. We've got two different characters that we control when we're doing our dungeon design. We've actually got Daedalus. Daedalus allows us to build up and tear down walls, and then we've got Asterion. Asterion is actually like our little RTS minion that gets abilities and items and stuff like that, and if push comes to shove, he's actually pretty dope at fighting the adventurers and like taking them out, and there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do, like secret hologram walls that he can run through, snipe somebody in the back of their line real fast, then run back through the wall like a terror from a horror movie. Kind of cool stuff they're playing around with here, but the first thing we got to do is we got to put down a spike trap. Spike trap's down, and then from there we've got to redesign our dungeon. And so I'm going to tear down all of the walls for right now because it just makes things a little bit simpler. And then what we'll do is we'll just have a central corridor right here. We'll have this branch out this way, like so, and then we will just have this follow. Alright, so let's put down our spike trap, and you'll kind of see how the most basic form of the game functions right here. Begin the hunt. A hero is going to come on in here, all chuffed off prophecy or something else. I don't really know, but he's about to be chuffed up the booty hole with a spike. We probably overtuned that. Like, listen, Daedalus in his office, he likes to overclock things, and unfortunately the pneumatic power on these spikes right here, definitely not OSHA approved. Probably a little bit too much powder in the tank because it blew that guy the hell apart. Now, later on, our maze will drink the blood of adventurers that die, and it levels up based on the amount of blood volume that we put through it, but for right now, there's not really too much else to do except for expand out our dungeon. And so they've given us two new traps. They've given us a luring trap. It's basically going to play a siren song that calls the heroes to a location in the dungeon, but there's sort of like a caveat here. It's got to be a dead end. And so we'll put a dead end in right there, and we'll put our magic statue right there. The white squares are where the song plays to, and then after that, we will more than likely, we've got like another trap spot over there that we're gonna have to make use of. Okay, let's do some renovations. Renovations are fine. All things considered, we have the budget for this, so nobody panic. We'll put a wall right there. We'll put a wall right there to force them onto the straightaway, like so. And then we'll just have that come back that way, and then they can reach the Minotaur's lair right there. We will put down a ballista. And there's 3 adventurers, so Asterion, unfortunately, gonna have to use some of that muscle in order to get this thing done. So let's set up in a corner real quick, and then we'll just rush them. Oh, never mind, the spike trap was right there. Okay, I guess the spike trap was still working. I don't know, it didn't look like there was still a spike trap there to me, but it's fine. Let's move on to the next part of the game. And we've got to pick ourselves a map location, but first we get gifted crystals for every single level that we complete, and we can spend those in the forge in order to unlock new things or upgrade traps that we already have in order to make ourselves more deadly and develop out synergies with Asterion. stuff like that. On top of that, Asterion also levels up while going through here. He also gets access to like artifacts and gear and things of that nature that change the way that he works, and so we'll keep an eye on it. But for right now, there's a lot of tabs with a lot of different upgrades and things that we don't really have the resources to play around with, so we'll just take a level. Now, we've got 3 levels right here. We've got a fight that puts us up against 16 adventurers in an average size grid. We have 11 on a big grid, and we have 16 on a big grid. I'll probably go 16 on a big grid. That sounds all right to me. Everything here has already been equipped, so let's go ahead and dive on into the dungeon, and hopefully this goes well. We have a new enemy and a new mechanic that we've got to contend with here. So the new enemies are archers, and they're all going to line up like Disneyland over here, like they've got their fast pass all ready to go on their phone. Greek adventurers, not big fans of waiting in line. We have found through exhaustive market research in building this dungeon that heroes, they really prefer to show up at a prescribed appointment time for their ride through the labyrinth rather than waiting in line. They don't enjoy that toe tapping experience. What I like to do right here at the beginning with Daedalus is I like to just bulldoze every single wall and start fresh. It lets me visualize what's going on a little bit better and how I can make this all work. And so what I'd like to do is we'll go like that right there. I can sort of see the angle that we're playing from right now. We will block that. We will block that so that they don't go down that way. We'll have a long hallway that goes down over to here. We'll have a hallway that goes down to there. We'll block that off. We'll block this off to that direction. This right here is going to need to be blocked as well. We will drag this back over to this side. And I think that looks plenty suitable for right now. I think we're going to have to do something like this right here in order to like subdivide this off. Okay, and I think we're about as close as we're going to get right now to really wasting the enemy's time. We will want to set up alternate gates because they are not always going to come through this gate down here, but we can renovate a little bit in order to make it work, I think. Just by going like that right there, blocking that off. These guys can enter a little closer. I'm not too worried about that. But with these guys right here, we're going to want them to pipeline into this part of the dungeon right here, I think. And then maybe if we can block that off just to get one more trap in position. Yeah, dude. That's looking all right. Let's block that right there. And it's amazing to me, that only took like 3 minutes for me to draw this out right here. With the way that they give you the lines and everything else with the 4 doors and whatnot, it's actually way easier to build a complex-looking maze than you think it's gonna be. Like, when I first sat down to play around with this game, I was like, man, I gotta, like, draw out an entire maze. But honestly, it's got a weird Zen vibe to it, just creating a murder dungeon that the enemy has to deal with. It's strangely Zen. I will put a murderous booby trap right there because they have to walk past the siren song. I would like them to walk across that trap right there, but I just can't figure out a way to make it work. That trap, I think we're going to have to use a ballista on it, maybe. There's 3 of them. I have a backbiter over here. Backbiter might be the better play. Like, put a backbiter right there. The backbiter takes out the last person in their formation. And that'll get rid of 2 of them, and maybe we'll finish off the last one with Asterion. That way, we've got options. Everything you get in this game, it's all randomized, so you get completely random stuff every time you play through. So you never quite know what you're going to be working with. But let's go ahead and get this thing trucking. We may want to get some secret doors and stuff too so that we can pass through walls and things of that nature. Let's zoom in for a second. And our first adventure is hitting the first leg of traps. We're going to hide Asterion right there. One got lured. Oh, but she's not dead, unfortunately. Okay. Well, the backbiter is going to be a little bit wasted on her then. Like, we'd prefer for the backbiter to go after somebody that's got less health and gets one-shotted. So that rearrangement of their line is going to make this a little bit more complicated. Oh, it actually got the middle formation guy. Okay. So let's charge in. All right, you got him. And you got him. He's at half health right now. We got to work on Asterion's health, man. Asterion got a little chewed on right there. Maybe I should have put in the 3rd trap. But I was trying to, like, future-proof to figure out where that trap was going to be most helpful. So we've got 2 guys coming in that way. We did not get a level up, so we are going to have to rearrange things a little bit. I do think that a ballista right here would be a solid play, shooting down that hallway. I don't know if it'll get both of them, but we'll try. I don't know what the cooldown is on this bad boy right here because the tooltips don't really give you that much information. It'd be nice information to know, though. Does Asterion heal in between rounds? He does heal in between rounds. Okay, well, I think we should be in an okay spot right now, I believe, because these guys will hit the wall of traps way earlier than everybody else does. We only have 30 bucks right now, so we can't afford a new thing that we can put anywhere. Let's just run it. I mean, there's not really too much more to be said about it. We'll just run it real quick and kind of see how it goes. All right, ballista got him. How long is the ballista going to be down for? Too long, unfortunately. I don't know if I have to reset it or anything else like that, but let's go ahead and smack that dude up real quick. We didn't take any damage on that side, so that's fine. Can our Minotaur reset it, or does it only fire once? It says an automatic ballista, so I was thinking like bang, 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 automatic. Apparently not that kind of ballista. We have one person being lured off right here. Not going to kill her, though, unfortunately. However, I'm hoping that we can just get her alone if this backbiter trap manages to take him out. That would be my hope. There are rats all over the place. It says they're just here to make the dungeon more cozy, but it also says that there's certain builds that will make the rats actually into, like, landmines, or they'll make the rats into, like, a turret that attacks the enemy or something else like that. I really like that idea. Let's set up behind this blind corner real quick. And let's get him. Down he goes. All right, so the last guy's been taken out, and we have a scroll over on this side. Our maze leveled up. Hell yeah. I'll take that. We've got a bounty on Asterion. The target is hiding somewhere in the labyrinth. This is a kill job. Our benefactor does not want him captured alive. The target is a kid with no combat training and easy money. Yeah, if a 12-foot beast with horns and a giant axe the size of a Prius was a kid, sure, absolutely. But if we're like a child Minotaur right now, good lord. He might be getting help from old Daedalus. If you find him, bring his head too. We might get a bonus. Fair enough. So they're like hunting you, boy, right now. We got one archer right there. We've got 2 guys coming in from there and 1 guy coming in from there. So we're definitely, I think, going to want to buy some traps. Let's go ahead and absorb all the blood from our dungeon floor real fast. Okay, and we can get something new. I'll take another luring trap. Another luring trap sounds good because I've got a perfect spot for it right there. And so we'll put in the luring trap on that side. I'm sort of playing with my life right now. Nobody's come through this door, and this is by far our weakest door. And so, if they come through that door, we got a big problem on our hands. If they come through in force, I'm going to have to do like a fundamental redraw of the entire dungeon because I'm protected from 3 angles right now, but that 4th angle is a real blind spot. Can I afford anything inside the shop? I can get a pressure plate. Okay. I don't have anything that links to a pressure plate, though. So maybe we'll save up after this one for like a fire trap or something like that. I also haven't been keeping track of how many we've killed so far. I would like to see like a number that's like a countdown somewhere for how many we have left to kill, but maybe we'll leave that for later. We got an archer on that side. We've got a lure on that side. We don't really have anything else to play with, so I guess just send in the clowns, man. I don't really know what else. Oh, the lure got him. Nice, dude. And then the ballista got her. That trap got him, and that just leaves this lure right here. Okay, bring the Minotaur back to his lair, and then we'll just let this thing run. Doody-doody-doo. Waiting for this guy to get here. The lure might not actually kill her, though. Yeah, she's still going to be somewhat intact by the time the lure gets her. That 4 damage, unfortunately, is not doing it for the 5 HP enemies. You'd expect the archers to be a little bit squishier than the actual frontline warriors, but not the case. They've been bodybuilding. They've been taking their creatine. They're strong. All right, and down goes another one with no damage taken by our Minotaur. New items in the shop. And we took no damage, so I'll take that. We actually have to do our redraw now. They're hitting us from every single angle. Okay. I do have a reflector. Like, technically, I guess I could put a Astarion back here and put a reflector, like, right there, maybe. Or I could redesign this, possibly, to make it a longer hallway, but I don't think that's going to work. I think I may just, like, I don't know, forward in, just take these guys out. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. The other two avenues aren't particularly that dangerous, though. So this guy gets got by the statue. This guy gets got by the backbiter. This guy gets got by that statue right there once he gets tracking and makes it into my lair. And I think if I park him right here, the ballista will get the rest of them. Send it. Oh, there was one at the top, too. All right, well, that was easy peasy enough to solve. Never mind. These guys are working their way on in. We'll speed up the game for a second. We've got 2 out of 5 down right now. They're going to get tracking. So they now know where I'm at, and they're moving faster. I don't know if the siren song will get them once they're in tracking mode. I suppose we'll find out. He's been lured. It's working exactly how I wanted it to work. Okay, fall back this way. And down you go. Okay, so we've got victory. We've got 160 gold, which transmuted into 4 gems. We got 15 for winning. We've got excellence bonuses going on out. I can live with that. I want to level up my Minotaur. Labyrinthos rewards will give you an artifact scavenged from heroes long lost in the endless maze. Pick one. Okay. I can make him heavier. It looks like I can get a charm that gives us extra gems for every time that our Minotaur does not fight. That'd be nice for extra metagame currency. Or I can make it so my ballista penetrates enemies they can kill and deals 1 damage to any enemy that they can't kill. Was it 5 damage on that? 5 damage should be good enough, I think? I don't know. We'll take it. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how the whole thing runs. Ooh, they got new enemies over here. Passes devices, including pressure plates, without triggering them. Okay, we've also got an armored fighter over here. We've got adventurers. Okay, now I regret these guys all. I think this guy right here, unfortunately, if he's in the front of the formation, he can eat a ballista shot. And so we need to be careful about the way that we set him up. Inside the workshop, we do have enough XP to do something. I would suggest... Oh, with 30 more, I can rearm my devices. Okay, let's not do any of these just yet. I want to save up a little bit more. And then on this side, we've got winding spike traps. Every 3rd counted enemy, it will attack. So it winds up from the pressure of their foot each time they step across it. Okay. Let's take the winding spike trap. That sounds good to me. Oh, there's a buzzsaw. You know we got to get some buzzsaws up in here, dude. That's a dungeon classic. Just like the crescent blade that's swinging on the giant long shaft that goes back and forth across like a bridge to nothingness. You got to have those in your dungeon, dude. It's just respect for tradition. That's what that is right there. It shows that you respect the history of what it is that you're doing. With these guys down here, we can equip some devices. Let's get rid of the lure. Maybe, although, no, I was thinking the lure would AoE everybody and then they would step across a winding trap. But let's get rid of the lure. I like the lure as like a filler just to break people off from the main group so you can get them separated. But I feel like if we can we've got to make like a central corridor with the winding trap in it that all angles go through if we want it to work at its maximum capacity, but we'll see. I don't want to deal with a ton of the evaders because they seem like they're going to be a big problem because they flatly ignore traps. So I'm kind of thinking we go for this one right here. It doesn't have range, guys, which is nice. So we'll give that a go. Okay, so passes devices without triggering them. An armored enemy, we've got to eliminate him with traps because he doesn't take combat damage from Asterion. And then diggables and energy. Diggables can be removed at the cost of your energy. When dug, they give you resources. Sounds like a plan. Can I dig those on the in-between of the round? We've got 5 energy. Is anything exposed right now that would give me anything good? So there's 2 gates that they're focused on right now. We are going to have to build this up somewhere. Oh, I need a pressure plate. This rotates if you have a pressure plate, and then I could rotate these trap faces forward. That way they're covering hallways and stuff. Okay. Where's the blocker at? 6 right there? Okay. How much does that do? 5? So it'll penetrate the first guy, but the first guy's ignored by traps. So we're going to have to do something a little bit more devious here. Okay, so I have all the walls out. Let me see what I can do here. Go ahead and dig. Okay. We'll just clear out that little area for the moment. I'm going to try to spend all of my energy every time we go in, just to get some extra metagame currency. But for now, let's consider pipelining the enemy I think our only real choice here is to the left, but we don't have a lot of really great trap options on the left. I should have knocked that out right there. That's what I should have done, but, you know, hindsight being 20/20 and all that. I could buy a pressure plate for $5. That'd probably help out. Yeah, let me get a pressure plate real fast with the gold that we mined, because being able to activate this stuff over here would be really, really helpful. I think there's actually a strong chance that this is just going to be sloppy. I picked the wrong trap loadout for this. So we will put in a... So the armor guy's up second. We want a backbiter, like maybe right here. So I'll put the winding trap right there so that it starts priming. I think I'm going to have to, like, rearrange things in between runs, though. We'll put the backbiter right there, and we'll put the ballista maybe right there, and then I'll rotate it later as necessary. We'll come back over this way, because that'll force the enemy to come to me. Whatever's left anyways, although there'll be no escape because we don't have the secret door or anything to help me get away. And so, this one might get a little bit rugged before it gets better. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, so they found my thingy. We took out the one that I wanted to take out, but this armor guy's gonna be an issue. Okay, it's fine. We made it out the other end. It happened a little bit not like I intended, but hey, I'll take the victories that I can get. A letter to Spiros. Spiros, I'm writing this letter in case you follow my expedition into the labyrinthos. Here's what I discovered so far. It's not just one maze, it's a maze of mazes. It reaches deep into the ground. The abyss is filled with labyrinths, and the connections keep shifting and changing. I can't seem to find a way up, only different ways of going downwards. Go back. Okay. That first one was always going to be rough. Oh, we got 4 of them coming in right now. With 2 of the heavy warriors? Yikes. Okay, so with 2 of the heavy warriors, I'm going to have to mine this out a little bit differently and rebuild it from scratch, I think. I think I want to funnel them this way, but at least we have no stealth guys on this one. So let's hammer this out real fast, just kind of see what we get if we open up this channel right here. Okay, channel's been opened up. We'll just break that as part of our future-proofing real quick. The second group, though, I'm going to have to rebuild everything, I think. The good news is there's a button for that, so put everything back inside my inventory, and I will rebuild everything from scratch. I don't have a lot of traps to fool around with right now. Like, I'm kind of making do with what I've got. But these 2, they'll get here first. They'll prime that. The front guy will get shot by the ballista. He'll take 5 damage, die. Then this guy will take 1 damage from the penetration. And then from there, I think I can jump him and take him out. I think. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out. I still need to wipe out that corridor, too, with all the dirt we've got over there to give me a little bit more variability, too. And then I figure maybe the backbiter over here, possibly. It's all I've got left, so we might as well give it a go. Begin the hunt. So in comes the enemy. I'm going to set up right here so that I can jump that warrior in the back, maybe. Okay, that guy's wounded. These 2 are moving real slow. That guy's dead. Bushwhack him. Oh, dude, they were way stronger than I thought. He died, like, instantly, bro. Oh, my God. We got absolutely torched. On the plus side, we did get XP. That set us up with some nice things. And so rearming the ballista would have been good right there. That would have been really, really helpful. What other things do I have? I can start with 30 gold. I can get starting item slots. I can get, I mean, honestly, health, dude. This dude gets absolutely dookied on. Like, he takes like 1 sword stab and it's over. What did we start out with this time? Ballista, fire trap, lure trap. Okay, I can live with that. Let's hit the first dungeon. We've only got like 11 normal adventurers, so this should be a good farming opportunity, I would think. Let me tear down all these walls real quick. Walls are torn. And with what I've got going on right now, so we've got a second over there. Okay, I think I see what I'm playing with here. So we're just going to wall that off completely so that the enemy has no choice. We're going to wall that off so these guys get funneled into the same pipeline that these guys get funneled to, and we're not going to break that dirt right there. That takes them over to this side with the traps. I actually need, so I'm going to build an alcove right there for the lure. We're going to block that off right there so that they have to go by the lure. We'll wall this off real quick. Take that up to there. We want that to be blocked off to maximize the amount of space they have to travel down. We want to block that. I'm going to want to dig this. Dig, bury me. There we go. So we've dug that out. I got to be careful about what I pick here, though. Let's just clear out this corner down here because I don't know where else to go with this. And so we'll mine all that out real fast just so it's done. And it's only 3 adventurers this time, so I don't think this is going to be that bad. We've already got our lure down, right? Okay, so the lure can go right there. We will have a ballista right there. And then, frankly, I actually really want to experience this fire trap. So let's try out the fire trap. We've got all 3 entrances isolated right now. Oh, 4 entrances. There's one deeper down to the south. So we'll want to actually take this right here, and we'll tear that wall down after we fill this all in so everybody's on the same track. That'll work. And then we'll try to avoid putting a trap there until the ultimate end. I'll put in another wall right there and knock that out on our next turn, but I think we're good for right now. Send the adventurers. I require blood and sport. Bring them into my abode. Let them investigate my new cutlery. Let them see my sweet-ass new couch that I have purchased from Ashley Furniture at great cost. All right. First hero, bye-bye. You used to be alive. Now you're not anymore. Okay. Fire trap got him burning. Burning, 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 burning. And attack him. Sneak attack was successful. I wonder if I run up behind them if they don't notice me. So, like, if they turn right there and I run up behind their formation, do I get a sneak attack on them? I would like to get a sneak attack. Although, the logistics of pulling off a sneak attack while you have hooves on hard stone flooring may introduce complications. That's just one observation that I have. So we're going to need to come up. Daedalus needs to set us up with some sweet-ass hoof cozies. You know, basically like folded over socks that we just like super glue to the bottom of our hoofs. That way we can be like, nah, 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 and sneak around the dungeon without making noise. I think that's going to be the next innovation. I was not a fan of how that fire trap worked right there. Like, it felt like it basically didn't do anything. So I think having the fire trap right next to the ballista is a mistake. So instead, we'll put a ballista right there, and we'll flame trap right here, and just to guarantee they stand on it, I'm going to thicken out that hallway right there. And we've got, like, 4 enemies coming on in. That should be fine. There should be, like, 1 left over. But, like, I really got to figure out how I get more traps a lot earlier. Like, it's got to be, I should have taken the plus 30 gold bonus for my metagame progression. I bet that would fix it up nice. Asterion, it's time for you to start knocking out some walls. That would be great. I would appreciate that tremendously. I'd like to free up this little area down here, but I also need to free this up over on this side, just in case that southern door goes active on me. And so we'll do that, and then I'll just start on the dirt blocks over here. Okay, dirt blocks have been taken care of. Just start the hunt because there's nothing else for me to deploy right now. And so just let the enemy come on in. He'll get lured. He'll get shot. Like, this first batch, gonna get victimized pretty hard. But I did want to set up and see if you can attack people from behind. I definitely wanted to see that. And so let's investigate attacking from behind. All right, Flame Trap. I need you to do better this time than you did last time. You do indeed get a sneak attack when you come up from behind. Good stuff, dude. The old stealth Minotaur build. I mean, there's D&D Minotaur rogues out there, right? You could be a Minotaur rogue. It may not go super well, but you could, like, make one. What do we have going on now? They're still coming through those 2 gates, and we do have a level up for our dungeon. Absorb the blood. The blood has been absorbed. I'm not a huge believer in that fire trap right now. I like the traps that kill my enemy outright, where they just die, and that's all there is to it. So I think I'll probably take a ballista right here. I do need to wall that off, and then take down that wall right there. It's not really going to matter that much. These two are going to get got coming down there. One of them's going to step on the fire trap, but the one in the front, okay. That looks good enough to me. Like, that seems like it'll work, especially if we have, like, a ballista right there. I really don't want the ballista to kill the guy that's on fire, though. That's the part that I'd prefer to avoid. So maybe we long hallway the ballista right here. Yeah, that'll work. Send him. Okay, one down. Lure's getting him. Two down. And only one adventurer left to burn to death horribly. I'd like to get in behind him, just in case. Let's get in over here, and then we'll speed it up. He's on fire now. And burned away he goes. A perfect execution. I mean, it's only the first level, so what are you going to do? I want to know what happens when my Minotaur levels up. That's what I'm curious about. They are doing a good job at unfolding mechanics here, though. I'm enjoying that part of it. So with 20 right here, closes after 3 enemies pass. How long does it stay shut for? Do they have to, like, destroy it? We can afford it. We can give it a test on the next run and just kind of, like, see what happens with it. Inside the workshop, we've got 1,300 XP right now. Let's go with the extra gold allowance. Oh, let's just give him 6 damage, I guess, with our XP. There wasn't really much else that I could do right there with what I had on me. Let's go with 6 archers, 10 bad guys. Okay. 5 and 6, 8 and 8 on a big map. 8 and 8, I don't think I physically have enough traps to actually make this thing work. We may want to go for the lower numbers here and just, like, hope that it pans out. Let's just stick to the small map, I guess, because I just don't think we have enough traps to actually deal with these guys. So over here, we'll probably want to knock that out so that we can put the lure right there and it'll get somebody. But we need the first person across to step on something that's going to murder them. We definitely want to loop them around the entire dungeon if we can manage it. The permanent wall. Oh, we got an extra trap spot right there. That's good. Okay. With a little bit of energy left, let's knock that out. I got to figure out a way to get all these paths to converge. Otherwise, we're going to have to do like a rebuild. Oh, well. Mine that real quick. Okay, we'll put the ballista right there so that we get actual duration out of that. Hopefully, they burn to death before they get to here, but the lure looks like it'll pull them back from right here. So that'll work. Put the lure right there. All right. Let's begin the hunt. Asterion, you get back. And they're just going to take the path of least resistance, so I can come up behind them and get a free shot off, too. But the archer's going to have to burn. Okay. Burnage somewhat accomplished. Sort of. Okay, get him. There you go. It didn't, so the archer burned a lot slower than I expected the archer to burn. We're going to have to work on that. The whole burning to death inefficiency thing that we have going on right now, I do not think it is going to work out the way I want it to. So we've got guys coming in from the bottom. We got guys coming in from the right. So we're going to need to reconfigure this place. So I need this upper archer to eat this ballista when she comes around the corner. That's what I need. I think I'm also going to have to reconfigure this over on this side with my mining energy. Yeah, let's just use energy over here for right now, just to open up this area. That way we're a little tiny bit cleaner. We do have a shifting passageway right here that does 30 damage to the last person that goes by, but I don't know how it works. So I think we have our plan now. I redrew the dungeon. So we should be good on that front. Both of these forces are being coalesced into one group. The way I see it is Siren will peel off this first guy right here. Right? So this guy goes to the Siren. Archer behind gets taken out by this because these first two step across that. Ballista gets the archer that makes it around this corner, and then Flame Trap gets the final adventurer. I think. Send it. Okay, the plan is working. That guy's lured. They both stepped on that pressure plate. That's good. That guy's now dead. Dude, if this plan goes off without a hitch, I swear to God, I was sitting here like reconfiguring things for like 6 minutes and being like, nope, that doesn't work. Nope, that doesn't work. That falls apart here. Like, dude, this game's a thinker, bro. This game is a big-time thinker. You gotta, like, sit and fiddle around with it. Otherwise, you are just flatly not gonna make it. And then we'll just let him burn to death for a little bit, and down he goes. Okay, dungeon leveled up. We got a bunch of XP off that. What do I get here? Give me something good. I need something functional that's gonna make this work. Another fire trap, another ballista, or another luring trap. Okay, I should have looked and seen what was coming before I decided what I was gonna do. You know, I feel like the ballista is always a crowd pleaser. I think the ballista's gonna work. I think the ballista is not gonna let me down. Where are they attacking from? Basically the same thing as last time, except this is the guy that's gonna get got right here, so we want her to step on the flame trap early. Let me get all my traps back. And so a ballista right there gets him. A ballista right there gets her. A lure is not going to help. We want the lure to be later on, because we want her to burn to death first. So there's her burning to death. I will set this back up where it was one more time, just as a backup plan, because I'm not sure she's going to burn to death in time. And then we'll plop the siren. I mean, I suppose over there's fine. But we do need all three of them to step on that. Maybe I'll put the siren right here. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, that guy's already dead. Fire trap on her, but because of her extra HP, it's going to take a while for her to die. That's if it stays on the entire time at all. There's really no telling. If I can get my Minotaur to a spot where he's concealed, that would also be good, because there's a strong chance we're going to have to deal with the archer. Okay, so the archers are not weak to the flame trap. That's what I learned here today, is that flame traps are not an effective way to deal with the archers, because they put themselves out of flame. Oh, she's lured. The lure is going to get her. I forgot about the lure. Yay! I had a backup plan just in case the fire didn't get her, dude. I'm a freaking labyrinthian genius. I'm so genius that I forgot that I had the genius plan. Hell yeah. Now we get our charm. When an enemy dies on a tile with rats, you get 20 gold and rats don't run away. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I can kill enemies on a rat tile. Or at least I can try. I mean, the extra gold will be appreciated because I have like no traps ever while I'm playing this game. But let's send it into another one. We got invaders over here. Let's not deal with the archers. Can I afford anything in the workshop right now? I can get more speed, but I don't think I want speed. I need one more level before I can afford a new thing inside the forge, like the buzzsaw. I don't want to deal with that many archers, so I think we're going to go for the right side play. There's not really anything I want to upgrade either, so like, let's go for it. At some point, a courier carrying treasure will sprint through the maze. And I got to kill him, huh? Ooh, this is a little itty-bitty baby tiny maze, dude. This thing is a mess. Ooh. Alright, let me pull some walls here and figure out what I can do. Man, those three entrances are close to each other, dude. They're super close. I can only break 5 blocks, too. Ooh. Alright, we'll break that block. And we'll funnel them this way. That way they have to cross that. We'll block that off so that they have to go that way and take 2 traps right there. And I think with this one, I'm just going to accept that I'm going to have to redesign the maze for each of the things we're trying to do. I can buy myself a little more time over here if I break these down. Like so. That'll work right there. And then I don't need to break that. Like, ideally, I'd like to open this up and force them to, like, loop the loop, but I don't know if that's going to happen like that. And then I'm going to need that block to go away so that they can actually access the lair. Okay. Get these two. I need this to be like a long-ass hallway of death by the time the second ones come through. All right, what's effective against evaders? So, like, Ballista right there gets the evader. It says it's effective against the evader, so, like, I'm hoping it's not lying to me. It says effective against evader. I'll put that right there. I'll put that right there. And then I'll flame right there, and we'll just see how this goes, because, like, the tooltips are different colors. I don't know if orange means that it doesn't affect them or, like, what, but we'll see what happens here. It definitely was effective against him. Okay, he caught that one straight to the dome piece. He is now missing a big chunk of his head. The lure should pull this guy in this way. It did a little bit of damage. If we can jump him, we'll probably be all right. He's going to burn to death. But I don't like that the armored guy is still up and functional. Oh, I should have set up right there. That would have been a better spot. Would have gave me more time to attack this idiot before he gets to my lair. He's going to stink the place up with his human smells and human juices, bro. I hate that. Okay, go. Oh, he saw me. We still got him, though. We still bushwhacked him. It's okay. Alright, so from here I got 5 more energy to play around with, and I think I know where I'm going to spend it. I'm going to spend it on those 4 blocks, I think. I am going to have to redraw, though, this entire thing, and draw it back towards the bottom where they both converge down here. I think that's going to be my major play. I think that's just going to have to be the thing that I do. I can't afford anything inside the shop right now. So I just got to survive one more round with, like, one full redraw. But I'm actually finding this to be kind of fascinating, dude. Like, this is actually a really mentally stimulating game. I can feel my juices flowing right now, and I'm being forced to learn to think in terms of, like, grids and in terms of, like, corridors and hallways. Like, this is definitely one of those games where you get better at it the more that you play it. This is only, like, my 2nd or 3rd attempt at the game right now. Actually, 3rd or 4th. This is my 3rd or 4th attempt at the game, and I'm doing much better this time around just thinking iteratively through the problems that are coming up with each wave. Like, on my first attempt, it was just a mess, dude. I got starched super hard. Like, my 2nd attempt, pretty similar. 3rd attempt was the one that you watched when we started off this video, and then 4th attempt is this one right here, and I can feel it going a little bit better. So there's definitely a learning process to this game. Like, you've got to learn to think in terms of the maze and how the paths move and everything else. And for somebody like me, where I almost never play tower defense games, it is interesting feeling my neurons sort of rewire to get after this one. I think the core gameplay ideas are solid. I think the only thing that I would observe is that the structure of the roguelite portion of the game is kind of like paint-by-numbers formulaic. What I mean is, like, I've noticed that there's definitely been a homogenization of roguelites over the course of, like, the last 2 years, where it feels like the metagame progressive elements are built almost entirely by blueprint to be like all the other roguelites out there, and then the main body of the game ends up being different. I do wish that the meta progress felt a little bit more distinct by comparison to the ridiculous amount of other roguelites out there. But, you know, they did like the persistent artifact thing. They're doing like the persistent add-on type deal, and then you slowly upgrade your stats to make your main Minotaur even better. But I do think that the core gameplay idea of repeatedly making the player redraw maps over and over and over again to optimize for attacks coming from different directions, I do think that that works if the bug bites you. Like, I can definitely feel my brain just sort of racking over ideas of like, okay, so how do I stretch out like 4 traps to kill 7 guys? You know what I mean? And I do think that that's going to be an addictive tempo that's going to grab some people. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was Minos. Tomorrow it'll be something else. Thanks for hanging out with me, and that's all I got for you, folks.